It's Monday, June 24th, 2024, which means it's time for another news surge. Today is the day of the Mining Disrupt Expo. I imagine, I'm not entirely sure, but if you scan this QR code right down here, you might still be able to get tickets. Stay tuned until the very end of this because there is some potentially big news coming down the pipeline. And I mean big news. I'm going to jump right into it. There's a lot to cover concerning the Mining Expo, so let's get over to the numbers. We are currently, as of Sunday when I record these, looking at a price of $64,151 to get yourself one shiny Bitcoin. That means for $1, you'll get 1,559 sats. Right over here by my left ear, you will see that we are just shy of 20,000 nodes online, 19,729. Fees are pretty low double digits. Anytime is 12 and priority 24. Not too shabby. The blocks are coming in kind of slow after this last difficulty adjustment, 10 minutes and 55 seconds, but we'll see how things shake out as this week progresses. And speaking of the week progressing, I think we need to touch on this. We're going to come back around to this story in a moment, but let's start off right here.
Now, what happens to all these wonderful models if 10 billionaires decide to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin each and announce we bought it, we're not ashamed of it, we're going to buy more? All your models are destroyed, completely devastated. Bitcoin goes to the moon.
But Thomas here, who posted this clip, is referring to Michael Dell mentioning Bitcoin. Is it at all possible that Dell Computers is looking at Bitcoin the way that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy is looking at Bitcoin and did look at Bitcoin back when they realized, we're losing a fair bit of money to this inflation thing? Dell Technologies has $5.83 billion in cash. With 3% inflation, that's a yearly loss of $174 million. Is Dell hinting at a Michael Saylor approach of moving to a Bitcoin standard? And as Michael said in that clip I just played a moment ago, all it takes is a few companies like this to go, look, we talked to Michael Saylor and then maybe Dell down the road, and this makes sense. It just makes sense. When are we going to start seeing that? Because I don't think it's a matter of if, I do think it is a matter of when. There is a lot happening down in Miami at the Mining Disrupt Expo. Right here, Dennis Porter is saying, the great energy debate to take place at the world's largest Bitcoin mining conference. You've got Troy Cross, you've got Ali, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, and on Team OG, you've got Colin McLeland and Adam O. That'll be interesting to see. And here, Dennis Porter, up in the Pacific Northwest, says, even better shot of the view. Pacific Northwest is incredible, and this is Mount Rainier here. Is it possible that the Satoshi Action Fund, headed by Dennis Porter, is about to turn a blue state positive on Bitcoin? And here's more Mining Disrupt Expo news, announcing not to be missed fireside chat with Marathon Digital, Fred Thiel, and Ted Cruz, U.S. Senator. And continuing the Mining Expo news, there's going to be a yacht poker tournament, June 25th, tomorrow, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. I really wish I could have been there this year, but there were some things back home keeping me preoccupied, important things that I had to do, like make this video for you. Here's a shot of, I believe, the party last year, I think. Now, if, like myself, you're unable to attend in person, check this out. Simply Bitcoin TV, who knows a thing or two about streaming live, they've done it many times, they do it nearly every single day during the week, will be live streaming for the world to see and enjoy all of the disruption, innovation that is Bitcoin mining. Now, I will be tuning into that. Should be a good time. And last but certainly not least, on the news coming out of the Mining Disrupt Expo, Dennis Porter is saying, again, Dennis Porter is talking a lot about mining right here. Mining centralization at the pool and hardware levels has been a hot topic. Pumped to have these speakers discuss this critical issue. I will definitely be watching this one because it is an important issue that people are talking about. How much different pools have control, how much they are mining, how much is the decentralization of Bitcoin an issue? What are we looking at here? We've got 3 more little bits of news here to cover, and returning back, as I said, to that Dell thing, I do like this take from Hodlnaut. Now, I have kind of a contrarian take to what Hodlnaut here is saying, but I do agree to some degree with what he's saying here. Yeah, The Michael Dell hopium simping is cringe. If your conviction is so weak that you need billionaires to support it, you're not going to make it anyways. And I do agree with that overall sentiment, that if your conviction is so weak that you need to point to a billionaire, oh, look at this, that's why I'm staying in, then yeah, maybe you are more paper-handed than you realized. Now, there is a difference between going, hey, right on, thumbs up to that. We like to see that. Michael Dell, anyone, Tim Cook, whoever, Elon Musk, getting onto the Bitcoin standard, or at least adopting it in some way. But simping is a whole nother thing. Now, I haven't seen anybody simping, but I imagine there are some people out there going, oh, here we go. This is it. This is exactly what I was needing. I wasn't so sure, but now that Michael Dell's looking at it, I guess I'm in for the long haul. All right. Now, if that is you, then I would suggest doing more research. If you aren't sure on your own terms why it's worth at least researching and understanding to some degree, more so than the average person roaming around the streets who knows nothing other than it exists, then yeah, take the time to put that research in. Because you might be facing a situation like John here. This is something that's kicked around for a little while, and I find it amusing. Back on February 2011, you're an asshole, John. Other guys are starting their own businesses, and you're just messing around with some weird Bitcoin thing. You seriously think you're smarter than them? We need to break up. There's no future staying with somebody like you. And then 6 years later, hi, John. How are you? I wonder how many people will be getting texts like that, or have gotten texts like that from Kate. Kate's out there messaging saying, hey, I know we've had our differences. I know we haven't always seen eye to eye on everything, but you mentioned Bitcoin that one time. Now, at the outset, I mentioned a potentially big story, and I don't think it is what Dennis Porter maybe kind of hinted at with that shot of Rainier, the Pacific Northwest. Maybe, possibly, could be that. But here, he says, story breaks tomorrow. Now, I'm recording this on Sunday, the 23rd, so he's talking about Monday. SatoshiAction.io. I've signed up for the newsletter. I want to get this news. Bitcoin is winning. The states continue to lead. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that news is going to be, but a few days ago, back on the 20th, he said, turn notifications on. Huge announcement coming soon. We are winning massively. And then he followed up a day later by saying, big announcement coming for Bitcoin. Sign up for the newsletter. Bitcoin is winning in the USA. And there have been some things coming out of Trump, coming out of Jason P. Lowry. I think that there are things happening behind the scenes that can't be talked about, won't be talked about. This is an election year. Don't want to upset the apple cart too much, who can't change things too much. And considering how positively certain politicians have spoken about Bitcoin, if we see Bitcoin doing really well, it might mean that that politician or politicians that favor Bitcoin also do really well. So I imagine certain powers that be might want to keep a lid on things, but you can't keep a lid on truth for too long. So as I am recording this on Sunday, I don't know what that big news is coming out tomorrow, no, today, but you better believe I'll be reporting on it next week. See you then.